and we're here every Friday. You can get your certificate of attendance. If you follow the bit.ly link, you'll see where it says download certificate, and it is stamped with American TESOL. And I have had teachers already who have told me that they've used this for professional development, so it's a really great thing. Today we're going to talk about Thanksgiving lesson ideas and activities, and I have many that I'm very excited to share. So we'll get this started, and hopefully you'll get some great ideas. You can get the presentation and the resources, all the bookmarks, so don't worry if you don't get all of the website links. You can find all of those here at the bit.ly address, but also I have a Pearl tree, which is bookmarks on the topic. So you can find all the games and a lot more there. Yes, I think it was the browser. Apparently when we updated, I don't think Google Chrome takes care of it, so I tried a different browser. Sorry about that. I really like Thanksgiving. I think Thanksgiving is a great holiday. A lot of the activities are just great to follow, even if you don't celebrate Thanksgiving in your class. But the thing about these lessons is that it really shows about giving and the story of giving. And I think that's what's really important about the Thanksgiving holiday. It's a great time to really share with kids how to give and how to be charitable. And I think a lot of times kids don't get to see that. Sorry, you can probably hear Roscoe in the background barking. Thanksgiving helps students learn about culture, assimilation, history, nature, peace, collaboration, farming. All of these things come from the Thanksgiving story and history itself. But these are really great things that language learners especially really relate to. Assimilation, what it means to travel to another country, and try to learn the language, try to learn the culture, and try to fit in. And that's what the Thanksgiving story is about. It's also about different cultures gathering together and helping each other and collaborating. Oh, I'm so sorry about that. Let me see if I freeze my video, if that'll help any. So it's really just kind of a great thing to be able to teach during this time. It's a great time to Skype with other classrooms and to really help show different types of global awareness and projects as well. Students will need to learn the story, and I think the story is a great starting point. And there's different ways that you can bring the story to life with the different students that you have. The stories of the Native Americans and the Pilgrims and how they got together and they survived this terrible winter. And it's a really great story. I was really fortunate. I went to a conference that I was able to speak at, and I got to see the original Plymouth Rock, and it was really just a great experience. But you can do this through teaching with stories. And there's a lot of books that I'll recommend for your students if you teach really young learners. For older students, you can get them to do plays, and that's really great with getting them to act out the characters. But sometimes your students may be very shy and may not be able to do a play, so you can do felt boards. And felt boards are really great because you can do different characters, and I'll show you where you can get free characters that the students can make to tell the story to each other. You can share with a video, or you can even do things with finger plays and puppet shows. Here are a few recommended books that I think are really great for Thanksgiving that I've used before in my classroom. 'Twas the Night Before Thanksgiving, Today's Thanksgiving, If You Were at the First Thanksgiving, and The Pilgrim's First Thanksgiving. A really great site to introduce this is Brain Pop. Brain Pop is a fantastic cartoon they have about the history behind the Thanksgiving story. But it's really great, the animation, because you can put the CC, and if you put the CC, then it comes out with the script of the words. So it's definitely something that I would recommend you checking out because it's really just a fantastic resource, and the students will like it. They have different activities, but you have to actually subscribe to Brain Pop and pay for it to be able to get the activities. But the actual script itself is free, so you can see the video there. Let's Have a Dinner with History. This is a great YouTube animation video of one of the books that I was sharing with you. So it's a really short, it's only 3 minutes, but it's something that your students can watch and they'll get to know the essence of the Thanksgiving story. This is one of my favorite websites for Thanksgiving, but it's great for teaching history as well. So students on the online interactive investigation, they get to be a pilgrim and they get to be a Native American. And then they get to go through all these different series online and they get to investigate like they're a CSI or a detective. So they have all these fantastic activities. They get to play games, they get to do some writing, all of this online. It's a whole entire lesson. So not only that, not only is it an interactive lesson where students investigate artifacts and they get to see real life examples and reenactments of the Plymouth story and of the Native Americans and the Pilgrims. But it also comes with this wonderful teaching guide that has many, many, many lesson plans. The lesson plans have objectives already written in them. They have the preparation, they have assessment, and they're great lesson plans to go with the website. So everything is there for you. And the kids will love it because they get to be investigators. They get to be historians. It's really good with language as well. This is what the teacher's guide looks like. It has so many lesson plans, but this is one of the lesson plans. The lesson plans use graphic organizers, something you may have heard of, which is the KWL chart. Anyone know what KWL stands for? Anyone ever used KWL before? You can type it in the chat box. It's a graphic organizer, and I think it's really great for the different websites. So these are activities that you could use along with the website, but also if you just follow this type of lesson plan, you can use it for any type of website that you find that you really, really enjoy. But it's basically what you know, what you want to learn, and then after they go through the investigation, the kids put in the last column what they have already learned. The next thing that I recommend, this is actually something I did. These are my students right here. We had an international Thanksgiving meal, and the students really enjoyed this. We had them from the different countries. They made a dish from different countries. They got to decorate the placemats under which represented the different countries. They had different flags. They had the cultural dress. We incorporated an intercultural talent show. So they got to show us things like how to make tea, how to do original dances, how to write in their script. We invited everyone from the community. We had about 100 people there. You can see it's very, very crowded. You can have parent volunteers to kind of manage everything. And then a lot of our students dressed in their traditional attire. Now, we had students from 12 different countries, so it was a really great opportunity for them. But a lot of our students will come from different backgrounds, so you can have them come up with recipes on how they celebrate Thanksgiving because many cultures do it differently. Another activity my students really enjoy is a Native American nature walk. So I actually got to teach at a museum for 4 years about Native Americans. So I learned a lot about that history. But we would take nature hikes and we would talk about how Native Americans used to use the plants, used to use the flowers to make dyes, used to use the plants. They would get rocks and they would make sandals out of them. So one of the things we would do is we'd go with our Ziploc bags. And with our Ziploc bags, I was trying to find one around here, we would collect leaves and sticks and rocks and make a memory book. And then we would talk about how the Native Americans could have used this. Now you can do a digital option. You can have them take photos instead and create an online story or a memory book. Mixed book is fantastic. It looks just like a scrapbook. You can also use tools like Glockster or Zooburst or Animoto. But I really think Mixed Book, and these are all free online tools. They will love this. How many of you have ever heard of Mad Libs? Well, Mad Libs, they have one for Thanksgiving. It's a great way to get them to practice writing and also learn about different types of grammar. You have adjectives, nouns, past tense verbs. And so this is a funny fill-in story. They fill in the different types of grammar points that it's asking for, and then it comes up with a funny story created. After they do this website, it's a great way to get them to get together. They can work in pairs. So after they fill it in, they can work in pairs and read the story to each other. And they will love doing this, and they get to practice writing. But after they do this, then have them simply create their own story and then use a Google form to ask for adjective, nouns, verbs, and so they can make their own Mad Libs as well. They can create a cartoon. There's actually the nationalgeographic.com for kids has a great cartoon for different students. And so it has this funny little cartoon here with a turkey, and they're all at the dinner table, and it'll be great to see what kind of creative things that your students come out with. This is a great warm-up activity. So when the kids come into class and you want them to settle down and just kind of sit and get ready and their minds prepared, then you can have them fill out this, and then they can post it on the wall, and they can see each other's, or they can share with a partner. Scholastic is one of my favorite websites for history, but they have so many great different types of activities. They have videos, little short videos that show you what Plymouth would have looked like then. They have letters back then. They have sound clips. They have interviews. They have so many primary resources, things that the kids can look at and really learn from. One of these is letters from kids. They have a letter from a little girl that was a pilgrim, and then they have a letter from a Native American boy that was during this Thanksgiving and the creation of America. So what you can have them do, letters are great because they're small chunks of language. It's really easy reading for kids. So they can choose one of the letters, and then they can either write an email or they can write a letter back to the boy or girl that they can choose which of these letters they want to respond to, and that can be an activity. Another activity is they can take mixbook.com, what I told you about before, and they can make a digital multimedia scrapbook documenting the content of the letter. So they can take a series of letters from the girl, and then they can make a little scrapbook of photos they find on Flickr, or maybe photos they make themselves from Instagram, and they can retell the events in the story, and they'll love that because kids really love doing that. There are a lot of Thanksgiving games actually that students can play that are a lot of fun. They can play Thanksgiving Hangman, and that's a great way to practice writing and spelling and letters, and this is what it looks like, and it is kid-friendly. There are tons of games that you can find that are interactive as well. Here that include reading and educational as well. There's how to make holiday stuffed turkey, how to make roast turkey. All of these are actually games. Now you have very simple games for very, very, very young learners like toddlers, the coloring game, but then you have more advanced games like Guess the Turkey or Turkey Run, or how to make a roast turkey. They can learn through different apps. They can learn through their mobile device. I love mobile devices for learning. So if you do have access to an iPad or an iPod or an Android tablet and you can get apps, these are a few cool ones. Mr. Turkey, Where Are You? It is a free app. This mother, she makes a series of these free ebooks, and they're fantastic because she made them for her son who has autism. And the great thing about these books is they are really great, especially for language learners and those who are having difficulties with reading. They can have the story read out loud to them, different parts and different words. They can look up words, and they can personalize it. So what they do is they go through, where's Mr. Turkey, where's Mr. Turkey. They can take pictures of themselves, they can upload it, and it becomes part of the story. So it's genius because they get to see themselves in this ebook. My students love these talking apps. This is Tom the Talking Thanksgiving Turkey. And so basically what he does is he repeats anything you say to him. This is how I got my young learners, my 4 to 6-year-olds I was teaching in Germany, to speak a lot of English because they love hearing these animals talk. So Tom is the Thanksgiving one. And this is different ways you can use this. You can teach them turkey chants and songs, and I have included that in the Pearl Trees list, a bunch of songs and chants for Thanksgiving. And so what you can do is have the kids repeat it to Tom, the talking turkey, and he repeats it back. It even records a video so they can send to their parents, and then the parents can hear them speaking. They can tell him a story, a poem, or a joke, and then he'll repeat it back. And I have included jokes in there, but you can always have them create their own stories or their own poems, and then he says it back. My students love to rap to the turkey, so that's what they do. I let them rap, and then you hear the turkey rapping. But the kids just love it. This is a little morbid, but for older kids, this would be good, especially like 12 years old, 10, 11, 12. But the turkey can plead for his life, so they can write a little pleading like, please, you know, take it as a joke. It's very light. So it would be for older kids who can maybe understand this a bit better. So maybe in their teens and stuff, or their tweens. Or a list of blessings. They can just have Tom the turkey say, I'm really thankful for. During Thanksgiving, we have a tradition where we gather around the table, many people, and they say, I'm thankful for this, I'm thankful for that. So that they can actually record the turkey saying this, and then they can mail it. For older adults, if you teach adult students, or even if you teach high school students, you can have this Thanksgiving menu maker app. It's really fantastic. Cooking is a great way to teach math. You can teach math and chemistry, as well as following directions and instructions. So you can have the students work in small groups or in pairs, and you can say, we're going to plan a huge Thanksgiving supper, a modern Plymouth supper. And then so the students, they can use this app that helps them plan the menu. This app creates a shopping list. It gives them a cooking timeline, how long it's going to take, what they're going to need to do this. Yes, okay, so Laura says November is Native American month in the U.S. So these activities support lessons for this too. Exactly. Thanks, Laura, for bringing that up. And then it also, you can have one for the classroom. So if you actually have a Thanksgiving supper in the class, then each group can be responsible for bringing in one of the recipes that they actually planned. Or you can tell them they can plan it at home and test how it went. This is great. This is Red Stamp, and this is even great for Christmas coming up and the holidays. Even in February, you have Valentine's Day. So this is basically, Red Stamp is a card making app. It's an app on, I think they have an Android version as well. But they can send thank you cards. They can personalize it by putting a picture, but they don't have to. It has various templates. It looks just like a holiday card. They can email the card to different people that they want to thank during the holiday. They can say, thank you, Grandma, for this and that. So it's just a really great app for making cards and then practicing small chunks of language. You can find several other resources if you go to the Pearl Trees. Larry Ferlazzo has the best sites to learn about teaching, Thanksgiving. And then ESOL courses. I don't know if you know Sue Lyon Jones, but she's at ESOL courses, and she's often she makes several video lessons that have to do with Thanksgiving as well. Well, thank you so much for attending, and if you have any ideas yourself, or if you would like to download the certificate or anything like that, I can definitely include it in the bookmark links. You can find them there. You can find your certificate for attendance for coming today, and thank you so much for coming. And if you want to catch recordings, because we record all of these, you can go to this address. It'll tell you about upcoming ones that we have as well. Next week, we're going to talk about teaching with Facebook and how you can use Facebook with your students. So hopefully I will see you for that one. Thank you so much for coming. Sorry about any of the difficulties for the recording.